A young man is in a difficult relationship. He has given everything to his partner, but he feels cold and empty. His partner is a teacher who gives everything to his students. The young man has met an older woman who is good at listening. He is grateful for her attention and her support. There's no change at home, but he knows there is someone he can count on. He's terrified of being alone. He depends on his partner for everything. His partner has painted a series of small portraits of both of them, set in a rocky landscape in the south of France. The older woman has taken on board the young man's pain. Something is stirring inside and she wants to reach out and touch. The young man suddenly goes to Paris with his partner on a flat exchange.
Hello. Thank you for calling the helpline. Welcome to Phase Therapy. After your recent experience, you may be feeling that you are on a planet where there has been a massive economic failure. You may imagine that someone is to blame and that vulnerable people are most at risk. Let me be perfectly clear. Your feelings are simply the result of an unfulfilled libido. Please enter the projection room and breathe in the fragrant molecules. Lie down on the couch and we will project appropriate flows into both hemispheres of your brain. You will soon be balanced and you will come out smiling.
Japan, as a nation, is one of the nations of the world which has consciously, openly invited national demonization. The sun goddess has sexual intercourse with the emperor. It's a very, very powerful thing. Since the night that the present emperor slept with the sun goddess, the stock market in Japan has gone down.
A young woman is in a desperate situation. The electricity has gone off and her partner is at a sales conference. She must decide whether to use her remaining money to top up the meter or save it, so her daughter can go to school on the bus. She calls a friend, an older man, who drives over, feeds the meter, reads a bedtime story for the child and produces a packet of chocolate cakes. The young woman brews a pot of tea and opens up about the state of her marriage. She starts to cry. The older man listens carefully. The young woman is not used to being taken seriously. She calms down and eventually the two of them are sharing jokes. The older man drives off after midnight. 3 days later, the young woman asks for help to get her child to a hockey match. Her partner is studying for a professional exam and cannot be disturbed. The older man picks her up, gets the child from school and delivers her to the game. Then, the man and woman drive out to the countryside and park near a meadow. They watch mad March hares boxing in the open. The older man feels he has something to offer. The young woman is smiling. A week later, she leaves her husband for a man she met at the swimming baths.
Hello. Welcome to Image Therapy. Thank you for calling the Customer Support Center. You may feel that your hopes are constantly dashed against the rocks and that you are being treated unfairly. You may feel that your investment has been foolish and that you will always be hurt. You may feel that you are isolated and that no one will ever understand. You may want to set fire to a shop. Your feelings are a result of unselfishness. You are suffering from self-denial. Please enter the massage suite and lie down on the table. Before we begin to soothe away your tired notions about the meaning of love, we will implant a series of healing patterns into your optic nerve. You will leave with a spring in your step, singing, "Oh no, I don't believe it."
Evil people are going to try to do evil things to us and to others during the last part of this year. I don't know whether it'll be in the fall or September or later on, but it'll be the second half. There will be some very serious terrorist attacks. The evil people will come after this country, and there's a possibility that not a possibility, a definite certainty that chaos is going to rule. And the Lord says the politicians will not have any solutions for it.
A young man is in a delicate situation. He has been with his partner since adolescence and he has always been faithful. 2 days ago, he kissed a colleague at work and his mind is in a spin. He confides in an older man over dinner at the Italian restaurant in the market square. The young man returns home and goes through the motions as his partner makes love to him. He forces a smile as they watch TV in bed together. The next day, he tells the older man that he will have to split from his partner. The older man counsels caution and realizes that his own emotions have become involved. Back home, the young man opens up to his partner, who beats him badly and moves out. The older man visits the young man in hospital. He brings fresh fruit, a small bottle of Southern Comfort and 2 novels by J.G. Ballard. He holds the young man's hand as he sobs uncontrollably. A week later, the young man moves in with the traffic policeman, whose fateful kiss changed his world.
Hello and welcome to Skin Therapy. Thank you for calling Customer Central. You may be feeling tense and you may experience a pulse in your ears. You may think there is an upsurge of blind nationalism all around you and that the old politics has run its course. You may feel that it's time to get out of the new world as you can't lend a hand. Your feelings are the result of TV avoidance. How can you know what to think about things? How can you respond properly? Go and float in the isolation tank and we will screen hyperimages which will start to loosen the rational deductive model from your mind. Thank you for coming to Skin Therapy. You will have to work on yourself. You are not a free man, you are a number. Be seeing you.
And then he said, "Now I want you to pray for me." He threw his massive hands up, and I'm looking up at him like this, and put my hand on his chest, and I suddenly saw a bone membrane. And I stood back and I pointed, and it suddenly broke, and he was drenched with the Holy Ghost, instantly drunk in the Spirit, and he fell like a felled timber. And he finally started coming out, and he was never the same. I see the membrane bulging.
A young woman moved in with her partner after a short affair. Both were dealing with issues from past relationships. Life was good. They lived in a small flat. with a small car and 2 cats. The young woman worked in a laboratory testing new analgesics. She discussed marriage with her new partner over dinner in a 5-star hotel. They were sitting on a terrace overlooking a calm sea. Her heart was bursting. It was an intense period. Then her partner had to travel for her job. She sent a mean text. Then another. She needed more space, she said. Then she ended it all. The young woman was devastated and opened up to an older woman at work. The older woman said that she would have to get past what had happened. The young woman burst out crying. The older woman held her tight for what seemed like ages. The older woman went back to an empty flat and curled up in front of the TV. The young woman called once or twice, then moved to a new job in the north.
Thank you for calling the Consumer Quality Center. Welcome to Nature Therapy. You may be feeling all alone. You may have a deep sense of loss for something you never had. You may spend hours sitting in your car in remote countryside lanes waiting for someone who never calls. Your feelings are the result of non-compliance and abandonment of your duties. In fact, you have never had it so good, and you should just rejoice at that news and congratulate our force. Please enter the vacuum chamber and allow the assistant to strap you in. We will impose appropriate algorithms directly into your cerebellum in order to balance your fear and pleasure responses. We will loosen up all the dusted and rusty thoughts and remove them for detoxification and recycling. When you leave, you will feel like a bright young soldier, and you will move forward. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left.
When I speak in tongues, it sounds like this. Shete lataya memberiota, mushka batolia kruna yede, laria keshikele kishkai.
And I'm gonna let the tongues just flow.
A young man met a woman who was a new teacher. She had completed her years of training and was adjusting to life as a new professional. The young man was a poet, and the woman loved his raw energy. They had a gentle relationship, punctuated by periods together with friends who lived in the hills. The young man would regularly run out of money. He was claiming unemployment benefit while writing and performing throughout the region. The young woman found this irritating and warned the young man he would have to find a better source of income. The young man met an older woman who was a Wiccan. He discussed the mysteries of life with her, and there was an obvious chemistry between them. But he was reluctant to break his relationship, and as a lapsed Christian, he had concerns about paganism. He took a bus to see his lover, but she would not open the door. She spoke with him from an upstairs window and told him he was no longer welcome. He went, crestfallen, back to his small flat in a run-down part of town. Eventually, he left his hometown to live in the metropolis. The older woman held affection for him, but despite a number of castings to draw his love to her, she never saw him again.
Welcome to iTherapy. Thank you very much for contacting the customer service center. You may think that you have looked deeply inside yourself and identified flaws which can be ironed out. You may imagine you are working on changes which will benefit yourself as well as those around you. You may walk or cycle 10 miles each day. In fact, you have fallen victim to a virus which is taking you away from your economic activity. Only work makes you free, and if you step away too long, you may find another person has taken your place. Please take off your clothes and step into the giant microscope. We will examine every square millimeter of your skin and blast away this deadly virus with our pinpoint femtosecond ruby laser. You will come out clean as a new button and ready to play your part in the great economic recovery.
That I will leave no stone unturned in misleading and beguiling men, and I will make certain
Look at that! Look at that! What you got? I got a blue. Ooh! Yeah, I got a blue light. Oh, there it is again. Watch, right in here.
Ben, the truck's empty. The truck's empty.
what you got?
Hold what you got right there. Just scan your sectors. Scan.
A young man met a tall, intelligent woman who was an actress. They met when he was a supervisor for an employment agency. They became very close. The couple often spent the evenings in her flat where she liked to pretend she was a cat. After some passionate weeks, the woman became unsure. The young man spoke to an older man in the office who told him he must smarten up and take a gift for his partner. The next day, the young man turned up bright and breezy at his lover's flat. He buzzed her on the intercom, but she said she was unwell. He turned up again on the following day and there was no response. He met the older man and they walked along the banks of the river. The older man wanted to say something, but couldn't find a way. The young man saw his ex-lover holding hands with a new man in the high street. Eventually, he moved back to his hometown and went back to college. He wrote only once to the older man.
It's so nice to see you at Mouth Therapy. I'm so glad you came to the End User Courtesy Bureau. I know you are feeling grateful for everything we have done. You have made regular contributions to the fund and you are actively involved in community dissemination. You should be aware, however, that there is a fault. Your activity has been thoroughly analyzed and it seems you are keeping something back. Please step forward and take hold of both electrodes. The current will be gentle at first and the oscillations will shake up your inner drives. Don't try to hold on to your desires, let them flow out through the wires and into the roots of the desire tree. We are planting a whole forest here and the fruits will be juicy and sweet. You may eventually be allowed a taste. Keep on trying to break through to the other side.
We're not greedy for it, but we really want it. So we don't use greed in a transcendental way, you know what happens.
You. Do you know that bad girls go to hell?
A young woman chose a new man. She watched him in the club for weeks. She liked the way he danced. He was cool at first, but she made big eyes at him and asked for help when her car wouldn't start. It had been some time since the woman had a lover and the couple had little sleep for a month. One day, her man vanished and switched off his phone. There was no light in his flat, and the young woman saw mail piling up through the letterbox. The young woman consulted an older friend who ran the bar. They spoke discreetly in the back room when she was off duty. The older woman was stimulated by the young woman's description of her conquest, but cautioned her to give him some space. The young woman waited patiently for a few days, and sure enough, she got a call from her man. He was at the airport and leaving on a long-planned trip to Jamaica. He apologized for not telling her sooner and hoped they could meet again when he returned. The young woman was angry and threw her phone across the kitchen. The screen cracked. She told the older woman, who gave a knowing sigh. The young woman walked off to the phone repair shop, where she'd noticed a particularly intelligent-looking man with a cute bug. The older woman got home after a long shift and poured an oil-containing marjoram and camphor into her hot bath. She lit candles all around and tried to regain her inner balance. It was no good, and she had a restless night, with some lively dreams.
Thank you for attending the worship center. You are gradually becoming free from your unhealthy longings, and as you do so, you are becoming a more consistent and wealth-free individual. I'm pleased to invite you to leg therapy. We are close now to the perfection of your life. Please sit in the circle and hold hands with your neighbors. We will begin the invocation. Oh dear guardian of the brain cell, please take away all that makes us sharp and thoughtful. Replace our neurons with those brightly forged in your great content management system in the sky. We pledge to stay logged into your holy network until the day comes when the whole universe becomes your subscriber. Shine your healing rays upon us as we dismantle the perverted welfare systems of this material world, which seek to usurp your divine majesty. As you leave the session, you will be pleased to know that you have all been granted further immersion in the holy deficit.
So much of what we have today comes from the Bible, but we just think, oh, that's the way America is. Free enterprise system. We've always had that in America. No, we didn't always have a free enterprise system in America. You go back through history and you'll find there are 5 Bible teachings that caused the birth of the free enterprise system. 1 Timothy 5:8, 2 Thessalonians 3:10, Matthew 25, Matthew 20, and Luke 19. That's where the free enterprise system got started. You take the Bible out of America, we don't have the free enterprise system. We'll have the same kind of stuff that's going on in so many other nations of the world, where productivity is so much lower, the GDP is so much lower. America, it's real different.
Was a drummer in a rock band. She'd had an eye on the singer for ages, and one night after a late gig, they went back to her flat and made love. The singer had not slept with the woman before, and she was surprised and delighted. The couple became inseparable and began to write music together. The singer's parents were strict about their religion and became angry about their daughter's new lover. They harassed her incessantly. The young drummer asked the manager, an older man, for advice. He counseled discretion and put together a plan which would convince the singer's parents that there had been a cooling off. He couldn't help feel sympathy, but also had an attraction for the slim, dark-haired drummer. The 2 women remained entangled with each other, and one day the singer vanished. She'd been strong-armed onto a plane by her 3 brothers and was forced to marry her second cousin in the Rawalpindi. The young drummer became suicidal. The older man comforted her every single day and would often hold her as she wept unconsolably. He wrote humorous songs and poems for her, which got her through some very dark days. He found ways to help her engage her fierce creative energy, and eventually she became a noted filmmaker. He watched her give an interview on late-night TV. His heart remained soft for her. He thought the singer's parents were monsters.
Welcome to Heart Therapy. You have navigated carefully through the layers of emotion and meaning set up to distract the unworthy, and you have finally been raptured through the holy firewall. Your doubts have been transcended and you are now in a permanent state of divine overdraft. You have lost all rights over yourself, and indeed there is no you which can be referred to as a single being. You are a multiple bonded atom within the great organic polymer which makes up the suprafinancial cosmos. Science and religion are now reunited. Each point within the framework is now as great as the whole itself. You can never return to the lower modes of joy, euphoria or ecstasy. You are blessed now with omnipotent and omniscient calamity and catastrophe. You have surrendered and you have received your just reward. Everything is one. Everything is Om.
He's powerful, fierce, and he stinks like hell. The monster at the bottom of the deep dark well, oozing poison into springs and streams, belching acid smoke to block the sunbeams. His slimy tentacles search for blood. He'll suck you in if only he could. There's bones and skulls and flesh everywhere. The monster, he's coming up for air. The monster at the bottom with his big goggly eyes, lurking in the dark, what a nasty surprise. Teeth of cast iron, uranium skin, ethylene breath and a tongue made of tin, churning out rumors and plots and schemes, passing vibrations into everyone's dreams. Who was that face at the window last night? The monster, he's a horrible sight. You think you're so safe and you're semi-detached. You turn on the TV to watch the match. It's been a long day, you doze for a while. Open your eyes, there's something vile, crawling down the chimney, bubbling up the plug, seeping down the walls, slimy on the rug. Open the door, there's no place to hide. The monster gushes in on a crimson tide, emerging from the fog on a cold, wet night. The monster's concealed in the pale moonlight. Footsteps echo in the alley in the dark. The monster moves and the dogs begin to bark. The police arrive, but they never find a clue. The blood is drained, but the body looks like you. There's a sucking sound in the mud by the dump. Two big yellow eyes and a clump, 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 clump.